Like I was prepared for my last period kids to come in here. What's wrong with me? No, I can't. Go ahead and get some water in my kettle. Oh, okay. Hi.
I figured out how to do that thing.
Oh,
You know
well,
what I'm saying now?
well, she just sent out the thing that said we don't have to do it. She said, okay, so I looked up how to do it too, and I thought I knew, but then she texted again or emailed again and said, to clarify at this time, we do not see the final grade submission button to click. If we get a workaround, I'll let you know, but for now, proceed
I
with
do
it.
know where it's at. I found
Is it grading traditional and then at the bottom?
It's at the bottom. You have to do a comment verification.
What?
There's a comment verification. You have it up right there.
Yeah, it logged me out, but it's being so slow today too.
Okay,
I
of
guess because
course.
like everybody's trying to get their grades in.
Mhm.
What did I do? Oops.
So go to settings.
Would love to.
I have not been in this place on Monday afternoon ever.
Settings.
No, go to this. Go up here.
Oh.
And it says, go to. Oh, I just had it too. Settings. Try settings again. It's somewhere in there.
This settings?
Yeah. So go to comment bank. I saw something special. Online. I'm like, oh, this is the only thing. This is gonna be cool. So I was going to show Kelly that. So I have an appointment at 3, 1, 2 o'clock.
Hey folks, we'll get started in just a minute, but I'm trying to let Wash show me how to do something for grades. So if y'all just bear with me for a moment, we're missing one or two people anyway. Okay, guys. Thank you for being patient there. We have to like do a new thing for grades, and nobody knows how to do it. So Wash and I are trying to sort that out. Okay, let me get attendance done. Power School is being incredibly slow today. I think, yeah, I emailed several of you last night and said that either you had not submitted a test for your Angela's Ashes test or you'd submitted a blank copy. One of those things is true if you got that email. And I know at least one person got that sorted out today. But if you got that email from me last night, then make sure that you figure that out before school is over today. 3 o'clock is the last time that I'm accepting any work. Because got to get it all graded, and then I got to go home. So if you're trying to get anything else in before Q1 is over, it needs to be in by 3 p.m. today. Okay, everyone is here. Why did that just skip Maryland? All right. Let me publish this. Okay, I'm gonna attempt to share my screen here. I was having a lot of issues with it earlier. So far, so good. And I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. Because today we're going to read and look at a couple of presidential speeches throughout history. Come on. Do what I want you to do. Okay. I'll move that down to the bottom. So I just posted this. It's in a module, although I think I might have put it in the wrong module now that I'm thinking about it. Yep, sure enough. Okay. Let's see if I can fix that. I want you to come down here. Come on. Okay. So that should work for you now. And when you go into presidential speech comparisons, you have 3 links here. This last link is the text for both of the speeches we're going to look at. We're going to look at FDR's Declaration of War speech, and we're going to look at George W. Bush's speech the day after I guess it was the day of 9/11. I guess it was that night. We're actually going to look at the FDR one first. So this was 1941. It's obviously going to be like quite a bit different. And then we're going to actually watch both videos. I already have those pulled up, but if you want to look at them later on your own, you have them there. What we're going to be doing after we've read and listened to both speeches, you're going to submit a comparison that lists at least 4 similarities and differences that you find in the rhetoric that the 2 presidents use in their speeches. So you could talk about anything from tone to repetition to, pathos, ethos, logos, any of that. Diction, I don't remember if I just said diction or not, but I was thinking it. Any of this stuff, you can write about those things. At least 4 similarities, at least 4 differences. And you can do this in whatever format you want to. It doesn't have to be like, it's not an essay. You can do a T-chart, you can do a list, you can write it in paragraphs if you want, but it's pretty open-ended. And even though we're going to do something else tomorrow, I actually don't have this scheduled to be due until Wednesday. And that's just really for like quarter one, quarter two purposes, because we have to have all our grades in today, but we're not allowed to have anything for quarter two dated until the 11th. It's very weird. I don't understand why. But it'll be due Wednesday. You may even be able to get it done in class. But I'm going to show the videos on my screen. So if you guys have split screen, or like David, you can have the text up on your own screen and be looking at the text while we've got the video on my shared screen. So let's go first to FDR, and I'm going to shut off my video just so I can minimize this thing. Beautiful. Run that back just a bit. I will just go ahead and warn you, this is, the FDR one is a little bit poorer audio. In fact, I'm going to shut my door because it's kind of hard to hear with people in the hall. Okay, so we're gonna watch this. The audio kind of tends to like get loud and then get quiet, and is kind of strange. But particularly if you're following along in the text, you should be able to understand it pretty clearly. This one's a little under 5 minutes.
And representatives, I have the distinguished honor of presenting the President of the United States. Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, members of the Senate, of the House of Representatives, yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy, the United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The United States was at peace with that nation, and at the solicitation of Japan, was still in conversation with its government and its emperor, looking toward the maintenance of peace in the Pacific. The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage to American naval and military forces. I regret to tell you that very many American lives have been lost. In addition, American ships have been reported torpedoed on the high seas between San Francisco and Honolulu. As Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy, I have directed that all measures be taken for our defense. But always will our whole nation remember the character of the onslaught against us. No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory. I believe that I interpret the will of the Congress and of the people when I assert that we will not only defend ourselves to the uttermost, make it very certain that this form of treachery shall never again endanger us. Hostilities exist. There is no blinking at the fact that our people, our territory, and our interests are in grave danger. With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God. I ask that the Congress declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
Okay, so oh no, stop. So obviously what we want to focus on is the content of what he's saying. But if you do wind up mentioning some stuff about the way he delivers it, that's totally fine too. Obviously, I was not alive in 1941, but he was known at the time as a great speaker. In fact, I'm sure y'all have probably heard of the fireside chats. Like during the war, he would come on the radio and talk to the American people, and people would like gather around their radios at night because this was pre-television and talk to their they would just like gather as a family and listen to him talk. The other one that we're going to be looking at is not Obama, President George W. Bush, the night after the 9/11 attacks. I was alive for this, and I remember it really vividly. And one of the reasons that this speech sticks out is obviously because it was after like a huge devastating event, but also because George W. Bush was not known as a very good public speaker. When he did like press conferences and stuff, typically he would kind of like get tongue-tied and say things that were sort of silly. And I mean, like Will Ferrell did a great impression of him on SNL. Like he was kind of easy to make fun of when he spoke. But this speech really was good, and the way he delivered it was really powerful. And even people who didn't really support him as the president, it kind of helped bring people together in a really horrible time. So this one is about the same length as the other one. That's the first one when you're looking at the text. So let's listen to that one.
Good evening. Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. The victims were in airplanes or in their offices, secretaries, businessmen and women, military and federal workers, moms and dads, friends and neighbors. Thousands of lives were suddenly ended by evil, despicable acts of terror. The pictures of airplanes flying into buildings, fires burning, huge structures collapsing, have filled us with disbelief, terrible sadness, and a quiet, unyielding anger.
Sorry, I was trying to get that audio right.
These acts of mass murder were intended to frighten our nation into chaos and retreat. But they have failed. Our country is strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation. Terrorist attacks can shake the foundations of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America. These acts shatter steel, but they cannot dent the steel of American resolve. America was targeted for attack because we're the brightest beacon for freedom and opportunity in the world, and no one will keep that light from shining. Today, our nation saw evil, the very worst of human nature, and we responded with the best of America, with the daring of our rescue workers, with the caring for strangers and neighbors who came to give blood and help in any way they could. Immediately following the first attack, I implemented our government's emergency response plans. Our military is powerful and it's prepared. Our emergency teams are working in New York City and Washington, D.C. to help with local rescue efforts. Our first priority is to get help to those who have been injured and to take every precaution to protect our citizens at home and around the world from further attacks. The functions of our government continue without interruption. Federal agencies in Washington, which had to be evacuated today, are reopening for essential personnel tonight and will be open for business tomorrow. Our financial institutions remain strong, and the American economy will be open for business as well. The search is underway for those who are behind these evil acts. I've directed the full resources of our intelligence and law enforcement communities to find those responsible and to bring them to justice. We will make no distinction between the terrorists who committed these acts and those who harbor them. I appreciate so very much the members of Congress who have joined me in strongly condemning these attacks. And on behalf of the American people, I thank the many world leaders who have called to offer their condolences and assistance. America and our friends and allies join with all those who want peace and security in the world. And we stand together to win the war against terrorism. Tonight, I ask for your prayers for all those who grieve, for the children whose worlds have been shattered, for all whose sense of safety and security has been threatened. And I pray they will be comforted by a power greater than any of us, spoken through the ages in Psalm 23. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. This is a day when all Americans from every walk of life unite in our resolve for justice and peace. America has stood down enemies before, and we will do so this time. None of us will ever forget this day. Yet we go forward to defend freedom and all that is good and just in our world. Thank you. Good night, and God bless America.
All right, so let me stop sharing with you guys. So I kind of wish that we had done this last week, actually. Just because I didn't know that we would have, I didn't know one way or another if we would have a new president at this time. But it's a really interesting thing to watch, like over the course of the next few months. Joe Biden's going to give a lot of speeches. Donald Trump is going to give a lot of speeches. Probably our current vice president and our new vice president will both make some speeches. And I encourage you guys to listen to those and see what you can pick up on in their rhetoric that you like and what you think does not work or like doesn't sound presidential. You know, if I'd known, I kind of anticipated that this might draw out even longer than it did. So I wasn't thinking about doing this before someone won the election. But just because of my like English teacher in particular, AP brain, I did watch Joe Biden's victory speech the other night and was like thinking about the rhetoric he used and like noticing repetition. I don't expect y'all to do that all the time, but like, you know, over the next few months, we're gonna hear a lot of speeches by powerful people, and it's really interesting to hear them and see like what commonalities these speeches have, because there are a certain number of things that you can kind of always pick up on in like political speeches, or things that are very common to see in political speeches. So you're finding 4 differences and 4 similarities. Like I said, you can do it in like whatever format you want to. But also, like I said, this is not actually due until Wednesday. So we have quite a bit of time left in class. If you are trying to submit any work today before 3 p.m., spend the rest of this class period working on that and turning stuff in. That would be the most important thing. If you are done with everything, then you can go ahead and knock this out in probably a few minutes, and you can get that turned
That's
in.
McFarland.
Yes.
What's another way we can submit the quiz?
The quiz or the
Yeah.
test,
Yeah, that's
you should be able to share it with me.
the sharing ability was disabled.
Hmm.
The only other way was Canvas, but the assignment was locked.
Let me see if I can unlock it and see if that will be helpful. What day did we have our test?
Last week, Wednesday or Thursday, I believe.
Oh,
We
so
started it Wednesday. And
it
we
should be locked. Mm. No, it should be open. I don't have it set to lock.
Hmm.
If you go into it and click on it, it should open back up and have you load it in a new window, but it should also like keep your answers and let you submit it.
Well, I tried to share it with you, but it won't let me. So I didn't know what to do.
Can you copy and paste it into a new document and share that with me?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Ugh.
I shared it with you.
There we go. Okay. Let me just make sure that it is okay. All right, I'll go ahead and grade that then.